Your life is a creation. And if you feel like you're stuck in a rut in life, you need to get more creative. That's it. At the end of the day, creativity in its most pure, raw form is you being vulnerable with yourself, you being vulnerable with the moment, and you being vulnerable with your art or the people that are around you. Vulnerability is a tricky word because what the fuck is it? It's something that you can't really explain unless you explain what it's not. And vulnerability is like the opposite of needing to hide in safety. And safety is a state in which a lot of humans remain for a majority portion of their life. You see, the only time that change can actually happen in a sustainable way is when you let go of your attachment to something in the present, right? Like a pattern is only changed if you let go of the old pattern. That's only when you can create a new pattern. Just like a drum, every time you hit it, you're creating a rhythm. The only way you can change that rhythm is to let go of the old pattern that you had. Life works in a similar way. There's a reason that we have music. It's because our lives are rhythmic and we like to experience analogy in a way that's playful. Life can feel so serious, and music takes the analogies from life and removes it from ourselves, from our egos, and we can experience music without being attached to it because it's something that we feel so bonded with that doesn't necessarily impact our egos. I'm going to start reading off a Substack post that I have called "The Safest Version of You is Slowly Killing You." Because we all, especially as creatives, but I think everybody is creative to their own capacity, we build walls to protect ourselves. And if we get too comfortable in the lair that we build, then it starts to become a prison. So a lot of why people feel stuck in life is because they have built themselves into a prison that they're not aware of. And how do you find your way out once you start to become aware of this prison that you built yourself? Well, one, like if you're feeling stuck, then that's exactly where you are. You have built some type of mental prison for yourself in a response to possibly trauma in the past or certain events that have happened to you throughout your life. Every significant moment, memory, connection in my life has been built in times where I have allowed myself to fully lean into vulnerability, pushing aside whatever fear of embarrassment, rejection, cringe I thought I may face, just to explore the curiosity I had about what was on the other side of action. And the moments where I didn't fully let go, those are the ones that I regret the most. Those are the ones that I actually look back on and cringe on. Not the ones where I thought I would cringe and then acted regardless of the discomfort that came with it. It was the ones where I kind of like stuck my foot halfway in the water and didn't fully just jump in. Oh, I'm gonna go swimming. How are you gonna tell your friends you're gonna go swimming and then just dip your toe in the water? You gotta get in. That's kind of what I mean. Everything that has made me cringe before I took the action, like I thought I would cringe or I thought it was embarrassing or whatever, when I allowed myself to breathe courage into my body and take action regardless of the discomfort, those were the moments where the most beautiful things have happened in my life. You know, that feeling where your body stiffens up and your neck tenses and you know that you really want something, but maybe because you've put so much pressure on it throughout your life or in the past, you kind of like work up these mental barriers to keep you safe from the rejection of actually going after that thing and possibly not getting what you want or having it turn out how you want it to turn out. Think about it this way. If I'm a maple tree and every idea, impulse, desire I've ever had was a little helicopter seed, they're called samaras, the kind you throw into the air as a kid and watch it dance in a spiral down towards the ground, the only time my ideas have sprouted into something even greater than the seed itself have been the times where I have allowed myself to let my little idea seeds fall off of me and plant themselves somewhere else in the ground away from me. Sure, I've had a lot of idea seeds lost, never to grow into anything significant. But I also know that there have been many seeds that could have grown into something so fucking beautiful. And those are the ones especially that I have clung on to in the past, just waiting for the right moment, only to realize that when I was finally ready to let go of them, they had rotted on my branches, and the season to pick up wind and travel somewhere new had passed for them. The most prized ones, sometimes the ones that I cared about less, those were the ones I let go of, and they turned into something so fucking beautiful. It was like I put this idea or this concept, or I put these ideas on a pedestal, these seeds on a pedestal, before I even gave them the chance to blossom, which I think was something from my childhood that I might have learned, because I grew up with tiger parents and they put me on a pedestal, and it made me feel really restricted and confined to fit into the ideas of what they wanted for me or what other people wanted for me, instead of listening to my own. And in them clinging so hard onto me, I began to rebel a lot. And I'm still unpacking that. And I realize I am kind of tiger parenting my own ideas. And so you may have grown up in an environment where you expected yourself to adhere to other people's ideas of perfection. And maybe the love that you got or the attention that you received from people that were important to you or your caretakers was conditional on the fact that you were perfect. And so now you have these brain children, these ideas that you kind of project the same perfectionism onto. Like, your self-worth is tied to this one idea you have and your ability to fully, perfectly execute it. And in being so caught up on the perfection of the idea, you don't give the idea room and space to breathe in a way that it needs to actually become the thing you want it to. It's quite paradoxical when I'm saying it, but that's exactly what's happening. Is your brain children, your ideas, they have a life source of their own. You are the medium through which you give birth to it and you nurture it until it's ready to go, but you have to know when it's ready to go, and you can't cling on to it, or it will never be able to grow wings of its own and learn to fly, or grow up and, be its own person and impact the people, reach the people that it needs to reach. Because that's exactly why you are gifted this ability to have ideas and bring them into the world, is so that other people can interact with them too. You don't just fall out of a coconut tree. So they wilt, only to be consumed by the worms, which, hey, I guess that's not the worst thing, right? Someone's eating them. But you didn't want those ideas to be consumed by worms. You wanted them to be consumed by people like you that you can connect with. You wanted them to plant their seeds and grow into a beautiful maple tree just like yourself. For me, those were my most prized ideas, the seeds that I clung most nearly and dearly to me, that I knew they had the capacity to turn into the most beautiful, blooming maples if they had the chance. Man, think about all the creatures that they could have fed. But at the end of the day, we're not trees. We're people with egos, with ideas that could change the world or even just help one single person out in either way. I'd say both have a pretty big impact, and you will literally never really know until you try. So we have many reasons for clinging so tightly onto our own ideas, our seeds. And those seeds are our brain children. We want to protect them. I'm not a parent, 27-year-old adult that does not have kids. So I don't know what it's like to have children. I don't know what it's like to be willing to sacrifice my life to protect my children, but I can imagine, because I do have a lot of brain children, and I kind of do exactly that. And I do know what it's like to be a child and to want to go run off into the universe and explore yourself. And I know what it's like to have parts of yourself, your inner child, have been hurt so badly that you'll do anything and everything in your power to hide that part of you from the world, to never let that part of yourself experience the pain that was once inflicted on it, to the point that maybe a part of you never sees the light of day again. And I know the pain of isolation, the pain that eats you slowly and turns you against your own self. The walls that you once built to protect yourself have now turned into a fortress that imprisons you, and until you yourself has lost the light that keeps your curiosity burning, until it seems almost hopeless to do anything else but continue isolating. And the key word is almost. I do think there is a way out of this, and honestly, which way, I'm not yet sure of. For myself, for you, that part really depends on your situation. But for me, every time I have found myself in a hole and I find myself kind of feeling that feeling of stuckness, I stay in that hole long enough to start believing in God again. And by God, I mean good, orderly direction, like the force of the universe just outside of our own personal control that seems to like orchestrate everything that exists in the world, exists in your life, exists everywhere, everything everywhere all at once. I start to believe that maybe there is a reason I'm feeling like I'm in a hole, some lesson that I have to learn, some reason that's being mirrored back to me in a way that I can't quite understand or see or are aware of yet. But please, God, just let me know what it is so I can get out of here. And when I start being open to the idea of, hey, maybe life is trying to teach me something with this difficulty or this resistance or this hardship, or maybe there is something I can learn from this, and I start to open myself up to that possibility, I get my guidance. I find that, and I don't mean like I go out and seek it. It's just as I live my life, I am open to the possibility, and then life just shows me. I've come to believe that every season of resistance that we face in our life is there to guide us, to be a part of ourselves or our psyche or whatever else that remains yet to be discovered. And that's where resistance comes from. The unknown is playing hide and seek with us. Come find me. You could continue to ignore it. Go ahead. Yeah, remain in that fortress with those strong walls that you built. Continue to stare at the blank walls until the end of time. Go ahead. Will you not continue to remain being bored and isolated and wondering if there's something out there more to life than just this space, the confines of the space that you've built and now refuse to leave? I feel like as I move along life in my creative journey, my artist journey, I realize that that is the very mystery of creation. And I don't want to, like, if you don't identify as an artist, that's totally fine, because everything in life is a creation. Every relationship that you have is a collection of times where you were able to surrender and be vulnerable and just create moments with other people, create connections through those moments. That's a creation. Every project that you've ever worked on. Every home that you've lived in is creation. You've created a home. Every meal that you've cooked is a creation. You build it, right? You build a fortress. What happens after you create something so vital to your own self-preservation that it keeps you from continuing to create? You build a home to support your lifestyle, but if your lifestyle changes, your home may have to as well. You build a meal or you create a meal when you cook. You have to eat it, and then you have to create something the next meal you eat. It's this never ending cycle. And so if you cling so tightly onto each creation that you have for your own self-preservation, it will keep you from continuing to create. And you won't be able to explore that curiosity that's within you. And that curiosity is like a fire. It's the very curiosity that drove you to create the thing that surrounds you right now. And I don't have the answers for you. I think that's the part that I'm trying to say is you have to like explore, whatever, like allow yourself to get into it yourself. I don't even have the answers for myself most of the time until later on in hindsight. But that's kind of the point, is like this is the never-ending journey and cycle, is that just you make something, you appreciate it, and then you let go. And every moment you make, every second you are present, you are making this presence right here in this moment, and then you have to let go of it so you can move on to the next one. But now you're here and you're asking questions, or at least you're wondering enough to like have stayed engaged with this piece of content, which means that there's still some inkling of curiosity in you. And it's within this very curiosity where good, orderly direction resides. I've never seen Alice in Wonderland, but I want to use this analogy because I hear this story about a rabbit. And the rabbit asks Alice questions, and it leads her down what we call a rabbit hole. And clearly you're on the internet, so you know what a rabbit hole is. I think of curiosity as the same thing, but instead of, it just moves you in a different direction. The rabbit is like an external manifestation of curiosity that leads you in a hole. Like, how do I explore this? But your own curiosity is the internal entity that is asking to be manifested and lead you out of the hole. And life and creation is kind of a dance between the two, where you interact with your environment and it interacts with you. It asks you to let go of your ego, whatever fear of embarrassment or rejection or cringe that you think you may face, and to just explore curiosity through taking the smallest possible piece of action you can. Think about a painter. If a painter is thinking about everything that they think everybody else around them wants the painting to be, the painting is never going to actually be the thing that they want it to be, the vision that they had in their head that started this painting in the first place. And then it's not even their own painting. And that's the beautiful part about being an artist, is you can have a vision in your head and it's your job to bring it out into the world. So like the smallest possible action, if you're creating something like a painting, is just one brush stroke. You take it one brush stroke at a time. Can't get focused on the bigger picture while you're in the thick of it. The time you can sit back and appreciate it is when you're done, or maybe midway through or whatever. It's when you're like away from the brush and you're away from that perspective where you're actively engaging in action with it. To accept that you may have to leave this beautiful, comfortable fortress that you have built so you can explore the rest of the lands in your mind. To understand that you're not just building a fortress, and there is more to build. You will only ever find out what you're capable of building if you leave behind what you've already built and continue to the next thing. This doesn't mean you have to completely ignore or hide what you built, and it doesn't mean that you'll never see it again. You can always revisit it, but in that, you'll be able to appreciate the villages and towns and worlds that you've built in the past if you allow yourself to let go and know that you can always come back to it later. Are you going to let what you've built in the past draw you in and keep you there forever, or are you going to continue exploring? Yeah, your creations should be appreciated, but if you feel imprisoned by your own creations, then you're not appreciating them. So yeah, they should be appreciated. But if you're imprisoned by them, you're not appreciating them. The curiosity inside of you is begging you to crawl out of the hole and move forward. And only you know what to do from this point forward. Not what you should do, not what other people tell you to do, and not what feels more comfortable to you right now in this moment, but the voice in the pit of your stomach, your gut. The voice that only comes out when you silence the rest of your mind. That voice that knows exactly what you need to do is the voice that you need to choose to listen to right now. I wish you good luck in getting out of this hole.